there's always one question that's always in the back of our mind. And the question is, what's in this for me? I mean, really, quite honestly, what's in this for me? And I'll tell you what is in this yoga for you. Today, it's more mobility in your hips, which is a nice feeling, and it's a feel-good feeling that's going to last you all day long. Really, give it a go, give it a try. I'm Jan, this is 316 Yoga. This is your yoga from home. I think that's the best part. It's a 1 hour long practice. We practice every single day, live, start to finish. No cuts, no breaks, no outtakes. It's just real, like being in a real class. And that's kind of a nice feeling too. So every day is different. Every practice is different. So today is a restorative practice. We do restoratives on Thursday and Sunday. Other days of the week, we do more active practices. And we even shake it up on Fridays with yoga, always with yoga, and Pilates and bar and weights. So check us out. Check us out and do what is right for you. Bottom of the screen says that too. Do what is right for your body. Everybody's body is different. Every day is different. Do what is right for you. Don't feel that you got to take every single pose the way I do it, because your poses may look different from mine, and that's what we're after. You're practicing at home. Nobody's watching. Nobody's looking. You be comfortable. Wear what you want to wear. Wear a t-shirt, wear your pajamas, wear yoga clothes, whatever. But let this become a ritual for you. Show up on your mat and just do your yoga, but do what is right for your body. If you stick around for just 10 minutes, that's fine too. This is just your you time. Here's a word to think about today, kind of a strange word. The word to think about today is discomfort. We talk a lot about, is it uncomfortable? Is it you're experiencing discomfort, or are you experiencing pain? Pain is never good. If you feel pain, come out of it. Discomfort, though, is not being comfortable. We're going to create some discomfort, and we're going to disturb the status quo. What are you used to? We're going to get you out of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone is limiting, right? Break free from that comfort zone and go beyond. Break through that discomfort. All right, in a restorative practice, we hold the poses longer, 3, 5, 7, 10 minutes even. You listen to your body and see when you break through that threshold of discomfort into ease. All right? It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? All right, you can do it. Yes, you can. Going to use some props. I always have my eye shade and my little hand towel and some water. That's good. Have a blanket. Everybody's got a blanket around. A yoga bolster. A yoga bolster. You can have a big pillow from your sofa, but buy a yoga bolster. They're awesome. 2 yoga blocks. We're going to use both of these today. Let's start to set up. All right, so you got your props. Let's come on into an L shape in your blocks on your mat. So have one block standing up at its highest height, the other block right up next to it to shape kind of like an L. And a stress number. I always ask you this at the beginning of a class. What's the stress going on in your body right now? Don't overthink it. 1 to 5, 1 to 10, give it a number like you do in the doctor's office with those little faces. Give it a number and let's work on it. Okay, put your bolster onto your setup. So it's kind of a nice little ramp here. Going to come into a child's pose. Now your child's pose. Take it lots of different ways. Do what's good for you. If it feels good to bend your knees, maybe do that. Bring your knees to the bottom of the bolster. Keep them kind of, in close. Come on down with your chest. Here's where you could use your blanket. You put your blanket on your bolster to make the bolster come up to you a little bit more. Hinge forward. Let your arms be where they like. And turn your head one direction or the other, whatever feels good, and rest your cheek on your bolster or your blanket. If it doesn't feel good in your knees, here's another option. There's always options. Take them. Legs can be long or a little bent, whatever feels good. And you got the bolster right up in your groin. You can have the blanket here or no blanket at all. And hinge forward and come to rest on your setup that you've created here. And if you've got the blanket there, acknowledge it, no big deal. And then we're going to work to either unfold the blanket a little bit or work it away. Take a deep breath in and a big sighing breath out of your mouth, and just find the teeny little gentle tweaks, the little gentle movements, the easy little movements that you can do to allow yourself to take the pose a little deeper as you break through the discomfort window. I'm going to set a timer here. We'll go for about 6 minutes on this side. How does that sound? So we'll do 3 minutes with your cheek turned in one direction, and then 3 minutes with your cheek turned in the other direction. So come to rest. Eyes are closed. Soften in your shoulders. And just let this pose feel good in your body. Deep breaths in through your nose. And then maybe a couple of sighing breaths out through your mouth. Oh, let it go. Shoulders are soft. And after you've sighed it out a few times, maybe close your lips and breathe in and out of your nose. And just listen to your breath in the back of your throat. Maybe you can turn your head a little bit more as time goes on. Maybe that's one of those little easy movements you can take as time ticks on. And you let your ear rest on your bolster a little bit more. Remember, it's your yoga, your way. If your chest is down on your blanket and it starts to feel like, oh, it's getting even closer, I'm not stressed here, I can open up the blanket a little bit more to allow me to bring my chest down even more. Deepen your breath. Breathe out of your back. Exhale, hollow out your belly. Let your chest come closer to your bolster. Think of creating length in your spine and letting your tailbone relax into the earth. We've been on this side for about 3 minutes. Time flies when you're feeling good. If you've had your head resting on one cheek, go ahead and turn the other cheek. I'll set this for 3 minutes also, and all you gotta do is breathe. I'll let you know when the 3 minutes is up. Spine is long, and you are at peace. Maybe think about bringing that ear a little closer to the bolster as you maybe turn your neck just a little bit more. Deepen your breath. Big full exhales, draw the shoulders even further away from your ears. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Now just observe, don't judge, how much closer and how much more comfortable have you come in allowing your chest to come closer and closer to the bolster. It just takes time. Everything takes time. Give your body the time to relax into the pose and get your head out of the way. All right, so you can stay here longer if this pose is speaking to you. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to slowly press out of the pose. Come on up to seated, but keep all your stuff set up. Maybe bring your blanket with you. I'm going to turn around here, just kind of pivot on your bottom, and bring your back up to the edge of the bolster. And recline on the bolster. So you know that goodness you feel in your chest when you do fish pose? It's very similar, right? You're going to take your shoulder blades and imagine your shoulder blades hugging the bolster. Come on down. Rest your head here. I like to have a blanket. A little bit of weight is kind of nice on the belly, or just a second, I'll show you something else too. Maybe you keep your feet long. Maybe to get more into the hips, you bend your knees and bring the soles of your feet to touch. And then I like to take the blanket down a little bit further onto my legs so it's kind of opened up on the inner thighs, just a teeny little bit of weight. Feels nice. And if you're not liking this so much, maybe keep both of your feet on your mat. So play with one of those three ways that feels comfortable for you. Rest the blanket, if you like it there, onto your thighs. We're going to go for 5 minutes here. All right. Settle in, get comfortable. Shoulders are like hugging that bolster. Arms are down by your sides, maybe palms face up. If you have your eye shade nearby or your towel, go for it all. Cover your eyes. Block out the world and focus inward. You're going to deepen your breaths here through the front of your chest. Think of the shoulders open. Think of your whole chest cavity just open, freely breathing, everything functioning well. Everything has space, including your hips and your mind. Breathe in. Breathe out. And soften. I'll let you know when the time is up. Let go of the thoughts. This is your time of peace on your mat. Just this little bit of time. Allow your mind to be free from worry and thoughts. Let them go. You'll think them when you come out of the practice. Let your mind rest. breaths are full. Take a full chest breath in. And just as important, a full, relaxing, complete exhale, softening all that you've got. No thoughts, no worries, just your breath. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And as always in our practice, you know that if this pose is just the bomb for you right now, stay here and enjoy it. Allow the pose to just feel good. I'm going to transition into a pentacle pose. So if you want to do that, try not to move much. Try to move slowly. And you may even be able to do this with your eyes closed. So I'm going to bring my legs along again. I'm going to press on up. And I'm going to turn around, spin around. So keep your setup. And just, like you did in your child's pose, the bolsters between your legs. Spread your legs long. I've still got the blanket on my belly. Arms go high overhead. And we'll take a brief pentacle pose. This is a resetting pose. In your pentacle, if you have to think a thought, allow it to be the little mantra of maybe, my body moves easily. I am fluid. I am supple. Why not? All four limbs reach to all four corners of the room. We don't stay here very long. This is just a little reset. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. You are at peace in this moment. This is your pentacle pose. It allows everything to just come back to the midline because you're nice and even and equal and balanced. If this feels great, stay here. I'm going to transition into another pose. That's for the hips. If you wish to join me, float your heavy arms down by your sides. Press on up to seated. All right, you're looking at your setup. We're going to change it. Think Stonehenge. So what you want to do, take the bolster off, Bring your two blocks to their highest height, parallel to each other. And you're going to create a little building here. So your bolster is on top of those blocks. I'm going to take it to the highest height. Check it out and see if you like it. You might want to change it and lower it. I'm going to take the blanket that I had on my belly and open it up. Not terribly wide, just wide enough for my shoulders and my upper chest to rest on. And I'm going to bring it to the top of the blanket, or top of the mat. So come on down to your belly. Bend your knees. Bring the tops of your feet onto the bolster. And then spread your knees as wide as you like and bring the soles of your feet to touch. So it's just, you kind of just feel your pelvis on the mat. I'm going to scoot my blanket up a little bit. So take a couple moments to just get comfortable here. And remember, we've done a pose called Tipsy Frog before. It's fairly similar. All right, soles of the feet are touching. Knees are spread as wide as you like. And if the soles of your feet don't touch, that's a-okay. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes, and we're going to come on down here. So you got your blanket, that's comfortable. Maybe crisscross your hands and rest your head on it. You know, you can turn your head this way or that, whatever feels good. But what we're after here is just opening up in the hips. Rest your head. Breathe deeply. Allow your belly to press against the mat. And as you exhale, really let all the air go and feel the goodness in your low back. Breathe through any discomfort and just enjoy the pose. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Deepen your strong breaths. Push the belly into the earth as you take a big inhale. And use the earth to help you deflate your belly as you take a big exhale. Can you deepen your breath? Try to. With the exhale, feel your body heavier as it releases into the earth even more. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Bring your head back to the midline if it isn't already there. Press on up a little bit. Fold your blanket a little bit so it's down a little closer towards your hips. Come off of your setup, roll over, come into pentacle pose. So not a lot of movement, just leave your setup where it is and just send your legs around it. Come back to recline and scoot the blanket down a little bit so it's kind of at your low back. And then take your pentacle here. Fingers, arms reaching to the top 2 corners of your room and your legs to the bottom 2 corners of your room. Breathe deeply. We're not going to be here very long. Breathe through the discomfort. And the little mantra we told ourselves in the last pentacle pose, come back to it. Maybe my body moves easily. I am fluid. I am supple. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Stay here if you like, and maybe as you stay here, you play with the blanket a little bit. Maybe you scoot it down or scoot it up. Just let it feel how it feels. It might be a little uncomfortable, but it might be that kind of little good discomfort. Breathe through it. I'm going to go into a sleeping swan next. That's kind of the pentacle pose or the pinnacle pose of the practice today for the hips. If you want to stay here, stay here. If you want to join me, float your arms down by your sides. Press on up to seated and then open your blanket up again, kind of where it is. All right, so keep it there. Bend your knees, and we're going to come into that sleeping swan pose. All right, so the blanket, you're going to turn towards your setup. The blanket is going to be for your extended legs knee. So I'm going to bring my left knee onto the blanket. I'm going to bend my right knee generously. I'm going to work my right shin a little more parallel to the top of the mat. Then I'm going to deconstruct this setup here. I'm going to take one of the blocks and put it under my right glutes because that keeps my hips even. And you can either use the block or the bolster to rest your head on. Either one is fine. See what you like. I'm going to come on down. I'm going to set a 3-minute timer here. It's already set because this is an intense pose. You can rest your forearms on your bolster or rest your head on your block or your bolster. Arms, you decide where you want to have them. Maybe you've got your elbows bent and the arms are just resting on the mat. What we're after here is that nice, deep sensation in the right hip. Now this is a challenging pose to challenge you to breathe through the discomfort, to break through that barrier of the I want to run away from this pose feeling to settling into it. Let your spine be long, however you need to use the bolster or the block. Or maybe you decide I don't want any props at all up by my head. I'm just going to bend my elbows and rest my head on my hands. Big breaths here induce calm in your body. Full deep breaths. As you exhale, soften your shoulders and think of the breath going to that hip to create space. And you know, but I'm just going to remind you, if you are experiencing pain, don't do it. Come out of the pain. You don't want to force yourself. If it's just uncomfortable, and it can be pretty uncomfortable without being painful, breathe through the discomfort and challenge yourself to get through that threshold. Remove the tongue from the roof of your mouth and get your mind out of the way as your body moves the way it was designed to move. Don't hold back. Don't doubt yourself. Tell yourself, I am supple. My body is fluid. I have movement, newfound movement in my body that I appreciate. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. That was 3 minutes on that side. If it's just starting to feel like those walls are breaking down and you are coming to that threshold and you're about to just smash it, stay here longer on this side. I'm going to transition to the other side. So we give them equal time, 3 minutes. But you got to listen to you. If this is working, stay. All right, so I'm going to come out of it. Just going to slowly bring the right leg back to meet the left, remove the block. Maybe shake the right leg out a little bit, whatever feels comfortable. And then we're going to do the other side. So right knee is going to stay on that comfortable blanket. Left knee is going to slip up behind the left wrist. Work the right shin a little more parallel to the top of the mat, to what feels good for you. Block goes under the left glute to keep the hips equal distant to your mat. Slip on down to whatever setup you've determined is best for you, the block, the bolster. And I'm going to set that 3-minute timer now. Rest here and just do think back for a moment to how you started on the right hip and how you finished. Now the left hip might feel pretty tight, but it's going to get to where the right hip was by the time those 3 minutes were up. Deep breaths calm the mind. Imagine sending the breath to the left hip. And imagine space in that hip. One of my favorite cues is to let the mind go. Where would your body go if it didn't have the mind in the way, limiting it, telling it that it can't? Soften, breathe, and let go. sometimes helps to ease tension by taking a big sigh out your mouth. Let it go. Feel your shoulders soften. Feel the body just saying, it's okay. Let go. And then come back to your Ujjayi pranayama breath if you want to. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. How's it going in that left hip? Do you feel that you've come past that barrier of discomfort? And it was only 3 minutes. 3, 5, 7, maybe even 10 minutes is what it takes to just really let the mind go with the pose. So stay here longer if you want. It's up to you. I'm going to come out of this and just do a brief little pentacle pose before we make our way to the wall for that legs up the wall pose. So send your left leg back to meet the right. Shake it out a little bit. And then come back to your pentacle pose. Maybe you got that blanket still there and you kind of liked it at the small of your back. Try that again. Or remove it if you didn't like it. I'm going to fold mine a little bit. Send the legs long. Arms overhead. And reset here. Stay here if you like. I'm going to make my way to the wall for legs up the wall. So arms float down. Press on up. Maybe bring your eye shade, your blanket, and your bolster. All right, so if you don't have a spare wall nearby, you can just put your bolster horizontally on your mat. Bring your hips up onto the bolster. And send your legs up to the sky. It's not as bad as it sounds. Just doing it against the wall is kind of nice. Something different. All right, so scoot one hip up next to the wall. Doesn't have to touch the wall because you want your legs not at a 90-degree angle, but a little bent. Come on down. And you could put your blanket underneath your shoulders if you like. I prefer it on my belly. Send the legs up the wall. Maybe you want to do it with nothing at all. Today I'm going to do the bolster underneath my low back, which I think is a nice feeling and something different. All right, so you got the bolster here. How do you get it under your low back? Bend your knees, push your feet into the wall like you do in a bridge pose, and scoot the bolster underneath your low back and send your legs up the wall. I'm going to scoot mine even closer. Send the legs up the wall, cover your belly with the blanket if you like, or you can have it under the shoulders too. And then cover your eyes with your eye shade if you like. All right. This is your legs up the wall pose. This pose and final Shavasana will end the practice today. You can decide. You can stay here for the remainder of the practice, or I've set a timer for 5 minutes and final Shavasana will end the practice today. You can decide. You can stay here for the remainder of the practice, or I've set a timer for 5 minutes and then I'll move into final Shavasana. But don't make the decision yet. Just let it feel good and go with the flow. Arms wherever you like. Maybe you like them down by your sides. Palms up. Maybe palms down. Both are fine poses. Do what feels good for you. Maybe you like to tee out your arms and bring the hands, the elbows to shoulder height. Maybe you like to bend the elbows, having your forearms parallel to your body, and rest here in like a cactus arm pose. And here's another one you might want to try. Arms are overhead and you reach for opposite elbow creases, and rest here. Or to truly restore, one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and appreciate your heartbeat and your breath in your belly. Deepen your breath. Remove the tongue from the roof of your mouth. And find whatever other little ways you can to soften more into the pose and let your body go. Take a deep breath in And a deep, slow breath out. Stay here longer if you like, or make your transition to your final Shavasana pose. I'm going to bend my knees, roll to one side or the other, come off of the bolster, and make my way back to the mat. All right, nothing wrong with staying up the wall longer. You decide. Okay, a lot of times I like to bring the bolster underneath my knees for final Shavasana. Yeah, it's just an option. Today I think I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to put the bolster at the bottom of my mat and just elevate my feet. You could do that with blocks too. It eases some of the tension on the low back. All right, come on down. Eye shade or towel with you, blanket, however you like. I like the weight of it. Maybe you want to open it all the way up and cover up completely. Options would be to place the blanket just on the feet folded or on the calves, the thigh, the belly, even the chest. That feels nice too. Cover the eyes. Block out the light. Arms down by your sides. Wiggle your shoulders a little bit and get comfortable in whatever fully reclined pose you wish to call your final Shavasana. What you want to do here is just have minimal movement. So get comfortable. And it's just the belly rising and falling with the breath. 5 minutes here, or longer if you wish. Soften the area between your eyebrows. Soften in your collarbones, in your shoulders. Arms and legs are heavy. Maybe the hips externally rotate a little bit as you work your pinkies more toward the earth. Breaths are deep and full, any way you like. Soften in your face, your cheeks, your throat, the area between your eyebrows. As you take a full exhale, can you bring your shoulders down a little bit more into the earth? As you breathe out, can you exhale just a little more air out? Can you soften the area between your eyebrows just a little bit more? Check in with your face, just a little more softening there, wherever you need it. Deepen your breath. Take another deep cycle of breath. Stay here longer if you like. Maybe you're still in your child's pose. That's fine. Stay longer. If you got your remote nearby, you can press pause and just enjoy your breath a little bit longer today. If it is time for you to end your practice, let's begin by bringing awareness into the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers. Just feel that little spark of desire to move in the fingers and toes. Now start to move the fingers and toes just a little bit, and then work the motion farther up into the hands and the toes, the feet, the ankles, the wrists. Find some movement and just spend a moment here moving the fingers, the toes, the feet, the ankles, the wrists. Just move them about. On an inhale, reach high up overhead and take a big good morning stretch, as if this were the first stretch of your day before you even get out of bed in the morning. That's a good way to start your day, with a yoga pose, the big yoga stretch. Our animals do it. We should do it too. Start your day with your yoga. Your yoga is so much more than just the movements. Go ahead and wiggle your body a little bit, your hips, your shoulders. Your yoga is said to be the union, the bringing together of your body, your mind, and your spirit. And it works. And you do feel the union. And we'll measure that in just a second. Bend your knees, bend your elbows, roll into a fetal position onto one side or the other. Use your low arms bicep as a pillow for your head. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. If you'd like, slowly make your way up to a comfortable seated position, whatever is comfortable for you today. Hands to prayer center in a moment of gratitude. Press your thumbs into your chest and lengthen up through your spine. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Before you open your eyes, the union of body, mind, and soul can be measured in your stress number. What was it when we started, and what is it now? Think back to what it was, but more importantly, think to what it is. All right, blink your eyes open. How do you feel? Stress is down, right? And you feel really good. You've got some more mobility in your body. You feel like you can just live your life a little bit better off of your mat today. So as you go on, remember that little mantra we said, my body moves easily. I am fluid. I am supple. Yes, you are. Come back to do some more tomorrow. See you on your mats. Have a great day. Enjoy life. And from us to you, much love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness,